that they made post-patch. Before the patch, this part was a bitch. You had to run out of this confessional and you had to basically get to a barn and slide open a door. And you had to slide open the
Okay.
door so precisely where it was open just wide enough that you can get through, but you didn't spend too much time opening it that the enemies got behind you and killed you. So they slowed them down here. So you have a much bigger window. You have about an extra second and a half maybe. In fact, you're going to see I'm going to grab the door, slide it open. I'm going to actually slide it open a little bit more than what I had to do in the first, before the patch, in my first video. Sliding it open this much before would have killed me. That's what I would have stopped, and I took it a little bit further just to show you that you have more time. In fact, they didn't even swipe at me as I was entering.
Ist ja interessant, dann haben sie es nochmal geändert.
So that was a very nice balancing change, thankfully. Because it was stupid previously. Little jump here, make sure you make it.
Ah, jetzt ist es ja nochmal anders. Jetzt folgen sie ja gar nicht mehr darunter. Da haben sie sogar noch einen extra Dialog dazu gesprochen.
Alright, so
Von wegen, ja, da gehe ich nicht runter.
The lady and the babies. There may be some bandages in the
Weil ich habe mich immer
right,
gefragt, so von wegen, warum nicht? Weil es macht überhaupt keinen Sinn.
Second cornfield bit. As soon as we climb
Okay.
out this window, immediately just go to the left. Stay along the left side of the fence line. You're going to hear a bunch the two guys. I think there's two guys in this area. I could be wrong. I'm not going to go and count them. But they're going to talk and it's going to
Also ich
sound
wollte
like
nochmal
they
ganz
know
kurz gucken, wie er das mit dem
they don't.
Wettlauf hier gemacht hat.
Is let this guy bust through the door. Of course, you have to make sure you get under this bed quick. And he's pathing over to the left. We're gonna crawl and crouch, and we're gonna jump over the railing here. Again, there used to be a guy at the bottom of the stairs. He's no longer here. He's in the room that we need to exit.
Ah, ja, okay.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna take out our camera microphone. You can hear him. He's behind that door. If you wait long enough in this area, he's actually gonna come out this door. And we're going to kind of go around the center garbage here. He just busted out. He's going to come to the right. And now we're going to go to the left. And go in through this door. And once we're in here, we're going to close it and lock it. If for some reason he's not
Ist ja
coming out, we might have
unglaublich.
to wait a little bit longer
Das ist ja
for him to come
viel
out. You
einfacher,
might have
als
to
ich
open that
dachte.
door and then just train him around the center of that previous room. But if you're patient enough, he should just walk out on his own. As soon as you start pushing that, sliding that open, he will start busting into that room.
Okay.
Alright, so next up, you're going to go up some stairs into a basement of a house. Go up these stairs, swing around the outside until you get to the door. If you're trying to use one battery, do not use a battery here. Take your time until you get to the door. However, once you get through this door, cross the road, and then sneak your way up to this door. If for
Ah ja,
some
wie hat das
reason,
mit dem Feld gemacht?
corn and at the end on them a bunch of wind, but we're gonna enter our second cornfield bit. As soon as we
Jetzt bin ich mal
climb out
gespannt.
this window, immediately just go to the left. Stay along the left side of the fence line. You're gonna hear a bunch the two guys. I think there's two guys in this area. I could be wrong. I'm not gonna go and count them, but they're going to talk and it's gonna sound like they know where you're at. They don't. So don't panic. Don't do anything stupid. Now, at the end of this corn, there's going to be a big gap between the corn and the door we need to exit.
Ja.
At the corner, at the exit point of the corn, make sure there's no guy standing there. 9 times out of 10, he will not be. We should be clear. And at that case, we can just casually walk into the door of the next building. Now, if there is a guy
Ja, also
right
easy.
here,
Ich
in that
bin
light,
immer anders
if
gelaufen,
there is
aber
a
okay,
guy
gut zu
there,
wissen, dass es auch
you're
so
going to have
geht.
to improvise a little bit. Go about 100 feet to the right and then try to sneak across the road and then sneak your way up to this door. If for some reason they completely spot you, try to get through this door, try to lock it behind you. You're going to have to grab the crank. You're still going to have to deal with them. There's going to be 2 of them that come in here. You're going to have to play a little cat and mouse. Use the barrels to hide behind on the outside, on the back door. But hopefully you don't have to deal with that. As you can see, I got all the time in the world here. No one's going to be back here.
Ja.
Passageway. We're in the next area. I'm not entirely sure of why, but nonetheless, if you did the strategy of what I showed in my Outlast Insane guide before the full game, you'll die, unfortunately, as some commenters have mostly politely informed me of. Alright, so what we're gonna do here is...
Mostly politely? Will er mich verarschen? Er macht so, dass er das überhaupt macht, weißt du? Dass er allein, weil ein neuer Patch rausgekommen ist, sich nochmal die Mühe macht, nochmal das Spiel durchzuspielen auf Insane. Das ist krank.
Don't trigger her. Once we're sure she's coming, I'm gonna hide in the grass right back here. Gonna get far enough in the grass here, kind of close to the fence.
Okay.
Now I'm just gonna wait here. Now she's gonna come out. She's gonna either go to our left or head straight off to the right side along the barn there. In this case, she's gonna go to the right. Where she goes is based on your position. So if I was maybe a little further to the left, she would have gone to the left. In my previous video, I just hid around the corner of the barn over there to the right-hand side. If you do that, she'll see you, she'll kill you. So as soon as she walks past you, whether it was to the left or to the right, sprint, she'll start chasing you, but you'll be fine once you get through this opening. So go get the hook, and then go back through that same opening.
Yeah.
Now we're fine. She's going to chase us in just a moment to where we have to apply the hook and pull the chain. So this is going to be a race. So I made sure my stamina was all built up so I can get to that location. Now she's right behind you. So as you're running up to this little gate thing here, start spamming your square button to insert the hook. Turn around, spam the square button as you're approaching the chain. Pull it twice. And there you go.
Gut zu wissen, also man muss sich da im Gras verstecken. Das nicht schlecht.
Alright, so for those of you who are trying to do a single battery run, here's a good tip strategy for the school section here. After you've got the transparency and put the projector in place, you're going to go back to the center and go through some now unlocked doors here to the right. Now, in order to gain access into the exit room where you climb out of, you have to trigger the jump scare. But in order to trigger the jump scare, you have to have your camera your night vision on. So what I'm going to do is go to that exit sign 3 times. So I went to the exit sign once, ran all the way back to the other side. Now I'm running back to it a second time. Then I'm going to turn around, come back to the other door, and then I'm going to run back to this exit sign the 3rd time. Now, as I'm approaching it the 3rd time, I'm going to have my camera out and then just flash my night vision. I'm going to have it on for only 2 seconds. The jump scare will trigger and I will turn off the night vision. So this is a way to conserve your battery. You can see I have not used it. This is the very first time I've used it in the run. So that's a tip for you if you're trying to do a single battery run. It would suck to waste 30 seconds of battery there. So go ahead, now you can jump out of the school, and now we're in chapter 2, which is so much easier. But be careful here in the beginning. You got some logs you got to walk across. Just want to point that out. So don't fall off of those until you have to. The game will force you. Then we're going to continue on a bit, and you're going to drop down this little pathway here. It's going to get dark. You're going to see a note on the ground. So run just about 20 feet past that, crawl, and then turn to your right, and it'll lead you to this section here. This section is relatively unchanged. However, the most changes to the game's balancing are in Chapter 2. And it's actually, Chapter 2 is a lot easier now, thankfully. Still a couple really tricky parts. But overall, it's easier. Alright, so you got that guy. He's still going to try to scare you and vomit all over you.
Interessant, hätte ich nicht gedacht. Ich fand ja...
Now, just like before, as we reach the campfire, a guy is going to come running down this hill. I'm going to get him to chase me, and I'm going to run back to where I just got vomited on, and then run around the trees to get around him. I probably should have let him get closer to me, because he's going to take a swipe at me. And he only does that because I didn't let him get closer to me. But nonetheless, I come out unscathed. Just run past these guys, you're good to go, you're fine, don't worry about them. You are being chased. So make sure you know the path. And as I mentioned in my previous video, you want to make sure you practice each of these chapters, each of the sub-chapters on Nightmare difficulty, where you can chapter select and have checkpoints. You want to practice each section numerous times. Alright, so now we're going to deal with Nick and Laird.
Das hier schaue ich mir auf jeden Fall mal an.
And once you get your glasses, don't go straight forward, because you can take some burn damage, or some damage of some sort. Instead, kind of go to the right of it. Maybe they patched that, I don't know. But here you're going to trigger
ja, stimmt.
Nick.
Wie macht man das?
Now, there's two ways you can do this. Most people just go under that tent that's over there to the right-hand side where you see the blood trail. They go in there, and then they wait for Nick to walk this way into the corner, and then they kind of sneak out. I'm instead just going to lure him to my position and then sprint to the next section using this tree as cover. So whichever method you want to do. Now here's a small change. They removed one of the heretics here. One of the guys, he would usually grab you right about there. But they either moved him or removed him. I'm not entirely sure what. It's a tiny little change there. Definitely for the better. So you got to do another school sequence. Nothing's going to kill you, so let's go ahead. And after the crucifixion here, after you removed, gotten yourself back to the ground, you have to go get bandages. And this part was actually a really kind of big pain in the ass pre-patch. Now, it's actually really easy. You just have to kind of improvise a little bit. There was a lot going on. They completely removed one of the people. There's 3 campfires, one to the left, one right in front of us, and one to the right. We need to go to the right to climb up the hillside. They removed the guy that's pathing that just kind of wanders off. In the campfire, that would be currently to our right. So this section, make sure you're crouched. Do not stand. Stay in the trees here. You got a guy sleeping in the ground right in front of us to the left there. If you stand, he'll stand and he'll kill you. So make sure you stay crouched. You don't have to crawl, just crouch. Get the bandages. Go ahead and heal yourself. So now I'm just going to, after I heal myself, crouch over to the tall grass that I just came through. And then you will see one person sitting on the log. You can either just crawl under the log if you'd like, or I'm just going to just sprint past them and go to the right-hand side. Go to around the fire on the right-hand side. So again, before you used to get over there, there used to be a guy. He would kind of meet you right over here. And then you would have to chase him. He would chase you, and then the second guy would join. This part was kind of a mess. So removing this one enemy makes it really easy. So there you go. I just got up, walked around, or sprinted to the right side of the camp there, and climbed up these rocks. Very easy now. I did it like 10 times in a row. Didn't even sweat. Alright, so we're going to continue onwards, continue the journey. No cuts here. Once you get to this section, it's very easy, but there's a guy with a flashlight right there. It's very easy to just kind of walk around him. Or sprint, don't walk. But he's not much of a threat, but he can kill you. Alright, so here's an interesting little tidbit. They changed this completely. Before, you used to have to hide in the grass here. Nick and Laird would come out, shoot an arrow at someone, and you'd have to follow them. They completely removed them. That entire interaction, those people that were at that gate over there to the left, all of it, gone. Not entirely sure why they did that. But what I will tell you is, if you came up this log pre-patch and then jumped down into this water too early, you would take an arrow as you were coming down into the water. So obviously that's what they were trying to avoid. So now you're just free to get to this log, get in the water. You do have to duck now. He is still over on the other side of this little pond. Now you have to stay down here. It's roughly 40 seconds maybe. You will see bubbles kind of come up, indicating that you're starting to run out of breath. After the second set of bubbles, you have maybe about 10 seconds before you die to the drowning. But conveniently, once the second set of bubbles pop up there, Nick kind of starts walking off, so you're good to go there. Just make sure you don't stay down too long.
Ich schaue mir das nur an, weil geht zwar eine Stunde, aber ich denke, ich muss es wirklich schauen, anstatt jetzt selber die ganze ausprobieren, ich muss es wirklich schauen, um dann nachher eine Chance zu haben.
Mineral 89 von Vichy.
Alright, so now we're in the school. Now we have to be careful. Alright, so we need to... Well, we already went into that in the previous time we were in the school, interact with that computer. But we have to go down this hallway. Once you go down this hallway, you're going to hear the phone, and then it's going to try to lure you to that room with the phone. But there's going to be something chasing you. So what I'm going to do is back down this hallway so I have a straight shot to the end of this hall, and then I can turn left. This is how I do it in the dark. I listen for the sound, indicating the encounter started, sprinted straight, turn left, and we need to go down this hall. I'm going to go down by this locker because we'll go here in just a moment. So kind of backing into that hallway just makes it easier to orientate yourself if you're trying to do a single battery run.
Ja, okay. Naja, ich mache meine Bathrooms-Sache da, die funktioniert ja.
In the dark. Alright, so go pick up the phone. And once you're done with the phone, exit the door. We're going to have to literally go right back to the end of the halls again where we just were. So turn left again. The demon thing is chasing us right now. He's behind us. All you need to do is get into this locker. And we have a fun section with Nick and Laird again. So as soon as you open this door to this room, you'll see an arrow's coming at your head. It misses you, thankfully. You grab the bandages and run out the back door. Now here's how I do it. I find it very easy and very repeatable. I'm going to sprint along the outside of this area to the right, being careful of the wire that's hanging between trees. And I'm going to look for this building. This building is right by the exit to this area. There's 2 doors with locks on it. Lock both of them. Very important to lock both of them. Now I'm going to stand by the window. As soon as I hear them bust in, I'm going to jump out. And then you should have no problem getting to this point. So that's the quickest and easiest way. Now here is where you're going to get arrows firing at you. You can try to go cover to cover.
Das muss ich mir merken. Das ist eine gute Strategie. Meine ist ja eher so lala.
Just sprint through this entire section. Making sure at this point that I recharge my stamina and then sprint out of here. You can take a couple hits, but if you're bleeding, you can make sure you bandage yourself and make sure you're hidden behind cover. So you can pick up the bandages there. Now you're going to get attacked. If you are bleeding at this point, do not bandage yourself. Do not heal yourself. That guy will kill you. So, speaking of bleeding, here I am, but I'm just going to sprint over to the end. If need be, I could have hidden behind a rock to heal myself. Alright, slide into that trap, get buried alive, and then as soon as you dig yourself out of your own grave, you're going to have a little dark area, and you're going to have a little bunch of crawling things. There's about 4 of them in this area, I believe. 1 nearby. Now again, if you have your brightness, contrast, everything kind of turned up, your gamma set to max, you should be able to faintly see the outline of these things as you're running straight ahead here.
Oh, Mann,
There's going to be one off to the right. And I didn't see him, so there he is. He's an ankle biter. Now there's going to be 2 more kind of to the left as close to the exit. 1, 2. So, yeah. Alright, so the final kind of area in Chapter 2. Make sure you make this jump. It would be terrible if you missed it. Now this part was changed as well. They changed the pathing, not the pathing, more the speed, I think, of Nick. He doesn't walk as fast. So it really kind of changes the entire dynamic of this entire encounter. But just as I did it originally, on my first insane,
da mache ich auch meine Strategie, die ist ja auch eigentlich ziemlich safe.
Side path, to get to the rocks to climb up where we detach the rope. Now take note of that path I just took, because that's the exact same path I'm going to take getting out of here. You couldn't do that in the pre-patch. They would always get hit by an arrow. So this part is actually easier. But you will have to know that you're going to have to change your strategy. You can use the same strategy I used in my original video. It is a little bit more difficult, and you will run into, have to make a maneuver around 1 or 2 people. So, but this way is easier after the patch. Alright, so make sure you have your stamina up. And now I'm going to kind of go sprint over here. Start walking. Pick up the rope. Immediately, as soon as you pick up the rope, now sprint over around this building here in front of us. And now we're taking the exact same path back that we took up here. Not even stopping. Before we used to have to stop, wait for him to get behind that outhouse. You may have to run around someone right there at towards the end, but it shouldn't be too difficult. So yeah, I found that section to be much easier after the patch. Alright, so now you're in the school rooftops. Well, now we're exiting the rooftop, technically. Go through the door here at the bottom. We are going to have a little encounter with our demon looter Milch. As we're coming down, you'll see him right there. Go back up. Hop over this railing. He will now be on the stairs above you. There's actually not 2 of them, it's just the same one. He teleported himself. Then I dropped down. You could have actually just climbed back up and then run down the stairs. Alright, so find this hatch, go down the stairs. He's going to be down here again. We're not going to be safe until we get to the cafeteria. So turn around, there's a door right in front of us. Open the door, step forward a couple feet, and then turn left, and then run to the end of the hall. You're being chased right now. So be very quick, get to this ladder.
Ja, okay, aber das ist nicht so schwer. Vielleicht ist das auch
I
mal
actually think they
hinbekommen.
gave you a split second extra time there, by the way. Just that's my gut feeling. If you need a bandage, there'll be one there. Probably. Now here's the cool thing about the patch notes is the microphone no longer uses batteries. So you don't have to do this part blind. You can use your microphone. Make sure you don't have your night vision on. As you see, my battery on the top right has lowered quite a bit. It's because Nick and Laird take a quarter of it. Those bastards. Alright, so here we're in the lake chapter. We're actually at the very end. I skipped the entire chapter, guys. It's boring. Nothing's going to kill you. You could experience fall damage. There's a couple spots where you can die by falling. But after the raft breaks and you're in the water, sprint forward. Watch out for the guy that's on the right. You'll be taken into the pool. Now, you'd be very, very quick here. Get the demon. I'm using my night vision real quick to turn it on to orientate myself. Now, you can either run straight back, as I'm doing now, or turn to the right or left. But no matter which way you go, orientate yourself quickly, sprint, and then turn off your night vision if you're trying to use a single battery. As you're running, spam the X button, because you don't know where the edge of the pool is. Very important. That was the same pre-patch. Alright, so now we're in the school. And we're actually, this is a separate school section. There's a section in the Blood Rain chapter where there's no fear of death, so I skipped it. So very simple.
Als ob die einfach ein Viertel von der Batterie nehmen. Das kannst du mir doch nicht erzählen, ey.
Keep following it around. I probably could have cut some of this out now looking back. Alright, now we're going to have to go down the stairs. You have one chase. It's very simple. If you don't think you can turn around in time, you can walk down the hallway backwards, but there's light here, so there's no need for that. So we're going to go back up the stairs, go out this door to the right, and then just go clockwise, or counterclockwise, rather. Alright, so now we're going to be taken back outside with the Blood Rain. Again, this is kind of the second time you're in this blood rain area. First time I just completely cut out. But this is where the chapter gets difficult. So once inside this building, there is a little crawly thing here. Once you crawl through here, normally there would be a checkpoint because
Jetzt bin ich mal gespannt, was er macht.
there's no saves. This is going to trigger an encounter. There's going to be two of these things. One of which is going to bust into this door. Now I'm going to take my camcorder out, and I'm actually going to use a little juice here because sometimes I get turned around. But once this guy busts through the door, he's going to kind of bust through and end up 5 feet into the room. I'm going to use that time to just run behind him to the left and up the stairs. Now I'm flashing the night vision because I sometimes have difficulty finding this little opening here for some reason. If you have to use your night vision, again, if you're trying to do the single battery run, just don't use it. But if you have to use it, just flick it on and off. Don't leave it constantly on. So this part is more about knowing the path. Again, if you're trying to do this on insane difficulty, you're probably very familiar with it.
Nicht so schwer.
Jahr für Jahr bist du wieder. Onkel, echt jetzt? Doch.
And the last thing we need to do is move this thing over here, blocking the exit. Now we're going to go into the school again and deal with the library. You guys know all about that, I'm sure. Here's where you're going to have to use a lot of juice of your battery. We're going to try to use as little as possible, though. So we're going to trigger the guy in front of us, the demon thing, and then I'm going to go down the last row of bookcases here, and then I'm just going to kind of weave my way around. Flashing my battery the entire time. And then we're going to get to the exit point right here. But we're going to have the demon right there. He's going to spawn in front of us. So right here is a bookcase that I can just loop him around. So I'm going to wait for him to follow me here on the right. And then run around it to the left. And then sprint right back to the exit point. Real easy. As you can see, I didn't use much battery. Just a couple bars, few bars. But we're not done yet. You're going to climb over a stack of books here into this new area. Now, if you're short on bandages, there'll be one in this room. Of course, that initiates a jump scare if you come in here. If you don't need it, then just come down this hallway, and we're gonna have another chase. This one's it's easy, but it can be tricky because you can accidentally get caught on like a table, a stack of books or something. So what I'm gonna do is get to right here, recharge my stamina, very important, and then kind of go backwards again. Only because you don't have a lot of time. He's right on your ass. So we're going to follow her. Make sure you don't get caught up on the table there or anything. And that is do it for the school section. But we're going to continue rolling this video here because this is a lot of things can kill you in consecutive encounters here. All right, so this section, it's really easy. I'm only showing this just to let you know that you can die here if you're too slow. So don't be too slow. I think you're actually safe at this point. All right, so dark area, go down the stairs, crouch to the left, and you'll be able to get out of there if you're trying to save battery. So this section, you hear a bunch of people around you, but at some point they do drop down into this area. I've not actually seen it. I just know it happens. But it is really easy. I mean, you have plenty of time. You can go get the battery, and there's a note on the other side if you're trying to get the collectibles. Alright, so push this cart, and then we're going to jump over, and then we have a big chase sequence. Now, I can't stress this enough. You have to get through this next chase sequence without taking any damage. You can't be bleeding. You can get to the end of this and completely get out of this while in the bleeding state,